Alright, so I want to talk about a model of consciousness today, a model that is so inextricably tied to our every need to feel loved and accepted and appreciated and just filled with those exuberant, warm fuzzies, right? And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the it's the stuff that makes us feel like we're finally being understood, like someone finally gets us, and that we're not alone in the world and abysmally different, but we're actually, to the contrary, part of something grand and special, and may I dare say even wizardly. And this is a model that I think that if it was understood and accepted and practiced, and I mean like truly practiced, it would dramatically change the face of the world as we know it. And this is a model that actually finds its roots in German expressionism, but I've been working with it for a while to kind of resurrect it, if you will, with a new syntactical flavor. And it's this concept. It's about developing a pluralist ensemble approach to otherness, to difference, to intergalactic alienhood, right? Okay, so what is this pluralist ensemble approach? Well, it's heavily steeped and marinated in a kindness philosophy. It's about being kind to each other. And that sounds kind of obvious. It's like, okay, of course, intuitively, common sense, we're supposed to be kind to other people. But it's more than that. It's based upon this idea, and that is embrace everything that is good, true, beautiful, soul-shattering, and weave it back into a narrative. Weave it back into a cosmic map that makes sense to you, right? So, for instance, we all have our own narratives that we have and play with in this life, and that's what makes people so interesting, so fun. My particular narrative is Mormonism, as you learned in my past video. Now, you might be an atheist, or a Catholic, or a zookeeper, or a Republican, or maybe a Joel Schumacher Batman Forever enthusiast, right? But I'm a Mormon, and being Mormon doesn't prevent me from crossing certain identity barriers and assimilating, say, the truths that I find, the ritualistic truths I find in Buddhism. Okay, I'm actually quite fond of Buddhism, single-pointed meditation in particular. I love the idea of stilling and slowing down the mind, especially given our kind of hustle and bustle, MTV, amphetamine, hyper-real culture that really just needs to learn to chill out once in a while. I love the idea of focusing on one aspect of the body, be it the space that's around me, the ground that's beneath me, the rise and fall of the belly, the air that circulates through the nostrils. I love all of that, so much to the point that I think many Buddhists, especially the ones that I've studied from the Mahayana tradition, they're so much more in tune, so much more cosmically aware and in love with nature and silence and just appreciating the here and now, the moment, more so than any Mormon that I know. And so you better believe that I'm going to shut up and I'm going to listen to what otherness has to say, right? It's almost this idea that I can't even appreciate my own wonderland that I have until I experienced the rabbit hole of my neighbor, right? And that's really the question. It's like, how far down the rabbit hole do we want to see this adventure go? So this whole idea of embracing truth from other people, other traditions, otherness, this by no means is a threat to my identity of being a Mormon, as if to suggest that it now somehow compromises or sacrifices standards or truths which I was taught and raised. No, quite to the contrary. I think it's very much in line with what Jesus taught in the New Testament, Matthew 5:17. I came back not to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. Right? Now you can interpret that any way you want. The way I interpret that is, here's Jesus amongst the Jews, and he says, hey, look, I'm not trying to destroy or overturn or take away the truths that you guys already love and find joy in. No, I'm trying to add, I'm trying to give you new truths. I want to enhance you. I want to augment you. I want to give you the abundant life and more of it. So you kind of see this idea I'm playing with here of what I'm trying to paint as being the Kindness Project. The Kindness Project is really about celebrating the unique voices in other people and other traditions, and not being afraid by their perspective. So much to the point that there are truths that they have that you and I both need. We may not think that we need them. We actually might be comfortable in our own kind of self-created cocoons of convenience, of never wanting to depart kind of like the shadowy caves that give our lives meaning and purpose. And that's cool. That's your prerogative, I suppose, if you want to remain an island. But I wonder sometimes how many people that you would reach with that sensibility under those circumstances. For me personally, I need the truths of otherness. I need the truths of the existential, who tells me that my life is only authentically mine to live if I take responsibility for it, if I take accountability for it. I need the truths of the secular humanist, who tells me that I can only respect and appreciate and savor the here and now if I'm not dreaming of my mansions above, right? I need the truths of certain films like Melancholia, Donnie Darko, Requiem for a Dream, and free thinkers like Duncan Trussell, Lars von Trier, Zach Wolk, people who remind me that my life or my depression isn't a lie, right? I even need the truths of epic apocalyptic rock bands like Muse, who remind me that I shouldn't be sarcastically taking a bow if my life is becoming contrary to what I want. Basically, what I'm trying to get at here, I need truths outside of my own paradigm to shake me up. I need truths outside of my own religious inculcation to remind me of the deity, of the divinity that hides or that sleeps inside me. Now, sometimes that comes from guys that I've read like Tim Leary or William Blake or Dostoevsky or Tolstoy. I need all of these guys as testimonies because they remind me that I'm not alone, that I'm actually, we're all in this together, and that we need each other's unique voices, and that we shouldn't be afraid of those perspectives sometimes threatening our stability, particularly if we're educated enough. And I guess that's what it really comes down to, is are we educating ourselves enough to withstand kind of like the seas of doubt and cynicism, stuff like that. But this is really what the Kindness Project is about. It's about recognizing the good and the truth and the praiseworthy, the divinity in other people. And we all need this. We all need just to develop the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And we got to do that in a way that is coeval with the religious feeling of really loving our enemies. Because when we come to love our enemies, we come to realize that we have so much in common with them. And when we realize how much in common we have with them, we experience what I like to call the earth-shattering theophany. And what's that? That is that our enemies are not really our enemies, but they're actually our friends in disguise, wearing masks. And we all wear masks to a degree. So I don't know, take that for what you will. It's the Kindness Project. Get on that roller coaster and ride it for as far as it'll take you. Because it's going to change the world. It's already changed me. It's continuing to change me every day. And then come back and tell me. You know, share with me the truths that you've learned and where I need to change and be a little bit more open. Or closed, depending on where you're coming from. Bottom line is, when in doubt, be kind. Right? Be kind, rewind. Because you never know what truths or what wonderlands the stranger down the road is going to show you.